Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time there lived a little girl who looked charming in a red velvet hood. Everyone adored her, and no one loved her more than her grandmother, who had sewn that hood herself. The girl wore it so often that people simply called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning her mother said, "Take this fresh cake and a little wine to your grandmother. She isn't well. Go before the day grows hot. Walk calmly, don't stray from the path, and keep the bottle safe. When you arrive, greet her politely before you look around." "I will," the girl promised, and off she went. Grandmother's cottage stood deep in the woods, marked by 3 tall oaks with a hazel thicket at their roots. At the forest's edge, Little Red Riding Hood met a great gray wolf. She didn't know what danger he was and felt no fear. "Good day, Little Red Riding Hood," the wolf said smoothly. "Good day, Mr. Wolf. Where are you going?" "To my grandmother's. I'm bringing cake and wine." "And where does your grandmother live?" "Farther into the woods beneath 3 big oaks, by the hazel bushes." The wolf thought, "What a tender morsel, better than the old woman. If I'm clever, I can have them both." He pointed to the glimmering forest. "Look around you, child. Sunlight is dancing. Birds are singing. Such pretty flowers. Wouldn't a bouquet make your grandmother smile?" She raised her eyes. The ground was sprinkled with colors and the light flickered between the leaves. "If I take fresh flowers, grandmother will be delighted," she thought, and left the path, picking one blossom after another, wandering ever deeper among the trees. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight to the cottage and knocked. "Who's there?" came a frail voice. "Little Red Riding Hood, bringing cake and wine. Lift the latch and come in, dear. I'm too weak to rise." The wolf slipped inside, went to the bed, and swallowed the grandmother whole. Then he drew on her nightgown and cap, crawled under the covers, and pulled the curtains. At last Little Red Riding Hood arrived with her bouquet. The door stood ajar, which made her uneasy. "How strange, this house usually makes me feel safe." "Good morning," she called. No answer. She stepped to the bed and opened the curtain. The figure under the cap looked oddly different. "Grandmother, what big ears you have, so I can hear you clearly. And what big eyes you have, so I can see you well. Your hands, they're so big, so I can hold you tight. And your mouth, how terribly big it is. That's so I can gobble you up." The wolf sprang from the bed and swallowed the girl in one gulp. Then he lay down again and began to snore thunderously. A hunter passing by heard the racket. "That's far too loud for the old woman. I'll take a look." Inside he found a fat wolf on the bed. He raised his gun, then paused. He may have swallowed the grandmother. Perhaps I can still save her. The hunter fetched a pair of shears and carefully slit the sleeping wolf's belly. Snip, snip, something red gleamed. With 2 more cuts, the little girl leapt out. Oh, how frightening! It was so dark inside. Soon the old grandmother climbed out too, gasping for breath. Little Red Riding Hood helped fetch heavy stones, and they filled the wolf's belly. When the wolf woke and tried to run, the weight dragged him down. He collapsed and moved no more. The 3 rejoiced. The hunter took the pelt. The grandmother sipped wine and ate cake and felt stronger. And the girl made a promise in her heart never again to leave the path or ignore her mother's advice. There is also another tale. On a later day, as Little Red Riding Hood again set out for the cottage, a different wolf approached. But the girl was wiser now. She kept to the road and walked straight on. She told her grandmother what had happened, and they barred the door. Soon the wolf knocked and tried to imitate the child's voice. Grandmother, open up. I've brought cake. They kept silent. After circling the house, the wolf climbed onto the roof, planning to trail the girl home at dusk and catch her in the dark. But grandmother guessed his plan. Fetch the big kneading trough, she said. Bring the broth left from boiling sausages yesterday and fill it to the brim. When the steaming smell reached the wolf, he leaned over to sniff. He stretched too far, lost his balance, and slid straight down into the hot, greasy trough where he met his end. And after that day, no creature ever dared trouble Little Red Riding Hood again.